4,500,000,000 years ago, the primordial solar nebula established an immutable law, forcing all cosmic bodies to rotate uniformly from west to east. Yet, Venus violently defied this baseline architecture. Renowned astronomer Carl Sagan officially characterized this hostile world as a lonely planet plagued by hellish devastation. Telemetry data reveals Venus rotates in reverse from east to west, requiring 243 Earth days to complete one single, agonizingly slow rotation. What devastating ancient catastrophe possessed enough kinetic energy to overturn an entire massive planet and force its core to operate against the fundamental mechanics of physics? What they saw next would change everything we thought we knew. The basic setup and movement of planets inside the early solar system were completely driven by extreme gravity forces and violent space crashes happening at unbelievable speeds. To truly understand why Venus spins backward today, modern space scientists look closely at deep tracking records published in peer-reviewed papers. These scientific reports use powerful supercomputers to rebuild the chaotic history of how early planets grew by smashing into each other. The simplest and most popular explanation for this planetary rebellion is known to modern astrophysics as the giant impact hypothesis. This core theory proves that the birth of a planet was never a smooth, peaceful ride, but rather a wild series of destructive accidents that completely reshaped entire cosmic worlds. According to official data from this validated space theory, during the chaotic early days of the inner rocky worlds, a young rogue planet about the massive size of Mars crossed paths with early Venus. This lonely space traveler slammed directly into the young planet with an incredibly massive amount of physical energy. The pure mechanical force generated by this ancient crash happened at a very unique angle. This giant cosmic collision did not hit Venus at the specific destructive angle needed to break the young world apart into permanent floating debris. Instead, this epic hit delivered a massive amount of spinning energy that permanently shifted the rotation direction of the struck planet forever. From the simple rules of basic movement, the immense pulling force and spin energy created during the crash acted exactly like a massive space brake. This direct cosmic hit completely canceled out the forward spinning motion that Venus had originally gathered from the spinning dust cloud around the young sun. The remaining physical energy left behind by this ancient accident was so huge that it forced the rotational axis of the planet to tilt violently, completely losing its original balance. The entire rocky planet was forced to flip totally upside down, shifting its tilt angle by precisely 177.3 degrees. This massive physical inversion completely changed how we locate and map the planet under the basic principles of modern astronomy. When you look at Venus from a fixed point in deep space, it appears to be spinning backward, moving stubbornly from east to west. However, the objective reality shows that the planet is simply operating in a completely upside-down position. The geographic North Pole of Venus was violently driven downward, permanently taking the physical place of its South Pole. This astronomical breakthrough proves that the backward spin is actually a visual illusion caused by the total physical flipping of the planet itself. The hot, rocky world stands today as a permanent monument to a massive ancient space accident, showing the raw power that shaped our planetary neighborhood. While a violent collision provides a sudden answer, modern fluid dynamics offers a much more lingering, deeply unsettling explanation for this cosmic rebellion. Advanced data collected by planetary probes from the European Space Agency reveals an ongoing gravitational tug-of-war across deep space. This complex interaction is known as atmospheric tides, a silent but incredibly powerful wrestling match between the thick air of the planet and the pulling force of the sun. This perspective reshapes how the universe explained planetary physics, proving that a planet can be altered not just by outside rocks, but by its own sky. To understand this slow process, one must look closely at the extreme structure of the planet itself. The air wrapping around Venus is completely different from anything found on Earth. It is a massive, suffocating blanket of carbon dioxide that is incredibly thick and heavy. In fact, the total weight of this gas is precisely 92 times heavier than the entire atmosphere of Earth. Because it is so highly squeezed together by gravity, this gas behaves less like normal air and more like a dense, heavy ocean of liquefied gas completely wrapping around the rocky world. The fierce heat and radiation from the nearby sun constantly cook this heavy gas ocean, triggering a massive mechanical friction process. The intense sunlight causes one side of the planet to heat up rapidly, creating huge atmospheric waves. This extreme temperature difference drives a continuous super breeze that circles the world at unbelievable speeds. For billions of years, this massive ocean of heavy air has been rubbing directly against the solid rocky ground below. Over cosmic timescales, this continuous rubbing acted exactly like a permanent hydraulic braking system built into the sky. The friction from the moving air slowly ground down the forward rotation of the rocky core. This relentless braking force gradually slowed the spin of the solid ground all the way down to absolute zero. Once the original forward movement was completely dead, the heavy ocean of air kept dragging the planet, slowly forcing it to start spinning backward. Today, NASA tracking maps confirm that the planet now rolls in the exact same direction that its heavy superstorms blow. This incredible breakthrough in space research proves that the sky itself completely conquered the planet, making this science documentary a chilling look at the raw power of planetary atmospheres. The deep history of our solar neighborhood hides a profound geological mystery that challenges how we view planetary survival. When looking across the wider field of cosmology, scientists often categorize planets by their initial building elements. Under this baseline lens, Earth and Venus were virtually identical twins, born from the exact same chemical cradle. However, advanced computer modeling managed by the NASA Goddard Institute for Space Studies reveals a heartbreaking ancient reality. These sophisticated tracking systems show that for nearly 2 billion years, Venus was not a toxic wasteland, but a beautiful liquid world. The early planet possessed vast water oceans, gentle blue skies, and an open temperate climate that closely mirrored our own home. It was a true cosmic paradise, surviving peacefully alongside early Earth. The sudden shift from a lush ocean world to a dead desert is a major focus of modern space exploration. As the young sun aged, it slowly grew significantly brighter, pouring intense heat radiation across the inner celestial tracking paths. This steady increase in stellar temperature triggered a permanent planetary disaster known to science as the runaway greenhouse effect. The rising global heat began to rapidly evaporate the massive liquid oceans, sending vast plumes of thick water vapor straight into the upper sky. On Earth, liquid oceans naturally trap carbon dioxide by dissolving it into deep rocks. However, as the liquid water on Venus vanished completely, the planet lost its internal atmospheric safety valve. This structural breakdown created a destructive environmental cycle that completely transformed the planet. Without liquid surface oceans to trap heavy carbon elements, vast reservoirs of trapped carbon dioxide gas erupted continuously from heating rocks into the sky. The heavy gas rapidly accumulated, forming an incredibly dense, suffocating cloud layer that completely trapped the original internal heat of the planet. Incoming sunlight could easily pierce through the upper haze, but the resulting thermal energy could never bounce back out into the freezing vacuum of space. The heavy carbon blanket acted exactly like a permanent space trap, locking in the primordial heat and driving global temperatures to impossible extremes. This process offers a clear science-explained framework for how a beautiful planet can completely choke itself to death under its own sky, leaving behind a terrifying warning for our own future. Today, this ancient runaway disaster has settled into a permanent, highly destructive planetary reality. The modern surface temperature of Venus has been pushed up to a constant, unyielding level of 465 degrees Celsius. This permanent heat is so extreme that it can easily melt solid lead blocks in a matter of a few short seconds. The vast liquid oceans that once defined this world are completely gone, replaced by endless plains of dark, scorched volcanic rock. The planet stands inside our universe as a massive pressure cooker, an unsettling testament to how quickly a paradise can break down. This incredible cosmic transformation shows that the line between a living world and a toxic nightmare is dangerously thin. The beautiful twin planet of Earth is officially dead, completely choked by its own heavy sky, offering an extraordinary chapter in our ongoing efforts to get the entire universe explained. Beyond the historical transition of this planet lies a brutal environment controlled by unyielding natural laws. The weight of the atmosphere creates a crushing zone that completely defies our earthly experiences. This immense air compression is precisely equal to the intense crushing weight found at a deep ocean depth of 1,000 meters on Earth. Observational physics proves that if an unprotected human bone structure were to stand on this surface, the atmospheric weight would completely crush them into dust instantly, long before the extreme heat could even begin to burn their body. The behavior of liquids on this world offers a bizarre, highly unusual display of chemical recycling. The upper sky is heavily blanketed by thick clouds made entirely of pure sulfuric acid. These toxic cloud formations constantly drop heavy, highly concentrated acid rain down toward the ground. However, because the air temperature near the rocky solid floor is so incredibly high, a unique process takes place in mid-air. The falling acid droplets are completely boiled away, turning back into gas while they are still hanging tens of kilometers above the scorched surface. This permanent atmospheric loop creates a spooky, everlasting phantom weather phenomenon known as Virga rain, where storms rage endlessly in the sky but can never touch the burning desert floor. This environmental chaos is further accelerated by an incredible planetary movement called superrotation. The solid core of the planet turns at an agonizingly slow pace, requiring a total of 243 Earth days to complete just one single full turn on its axis. Yet, the heavy clouds in the upper sky move with a wild, terrifying energy. Fueled by solar heat, these upper winds tear around the planet at an unbelievable speed of 360 kilometers per hour. This speed difference is so extreme that the churning sky manages to completely circle and sweep across the entire planet in a matter of just 4 Earth days. Understanding these extreme physical boundaries requires us to look at the foundational mechanics that govern the cosmos. The crush of this atmosphere is an incredible display of pure gravitational force, acting like a massive vice grip. While quantum physics usually studies the invisible movements of tiny subatomic particles, and astrophysics explores how massive black holes warp large regions of space, this rocky world shows us how basic planetary forces can create a localized hell. This captivating space documentary reveals that the physical laws of our universe are absolute and completely unyielding. The scorched landscape of Venus remains locked under a crushing acidic sky, serving as a permanent monument to the raw, violent power of natural cosmic rules. The toxic environment of this planetary nightmare recently presented an unexpected chemical puzzle that completely startled the global scientific community. While the scorched rocky ground remains totally unlivable, deep space observation programs began turning their focus toward the upper atmosphere. In the historic timeline year 2020, international astronomers scanning the cosmos made a series of shocking new discoveries. Using powerful ground telescopes to analyze light signatures, researchers detected the clear optical spectrum of phosphine gas floating directly within the temperate cloud layers of the planet. This surprising detection immediately sparked intense curiosity worldwide, as the unexplained presence of this specific gas introduces a profound mystery regarding our basic understanding of planetary biology. To understand why this chemical finding caused such massive excitement, we must look closely at how gases form on solid rocky worlds. Under normal conditions, basic geology and standard volcanic actions can easily generate common planetary compounds like sulfur dioxide or carbon dioxide. However, phosphine is completely different. On small, rocky spheres lacking extreme high-pressure interiors, non-living chemical processes simply cannot produce this rare gas in significant amounts. On our own home planet, phosphine is almost exclusively a biological byproduct generated by anaerobic microbes that thrive in oxygen-free environments. Because of this specialized chemistry, Modern astrobiologists view this distinct gas as a primary signature for potential alien life hidden inside cosmic environments. The discovery has triggered a series of major scientific debates that continue to push the boundaries of cosmic research. Many prominent research teams speculate that a hidden ecosystem of extreme microorganisms might actually survive comfortably at an altitude of precisely 50 kilometers above the scorching ground. At this specific height, the local atmospheric pressure and ambient temperatures are surprisingly gentle, closely matching the comfortable surface conditions found on Earth. However, these floating organisms would still have to survive inside floating droplets of highly concentrated acid. While some skeptical researchers argue that unknown chemical reactions on the rocky floor might be creating the gas without life, the data remains a massive, unresolved riddle challenging modern space biology. As modern private entities like SpaceX continue to design advanced rocket networks to explore our cosmic neighborhood, interest in these atmospheric anomalies is growing rapidly. If our current solar system holds multiple worlds with independent biological signatures, our baseline understanding of how life develops across distant galaxies will be completely rewritten. What would you feel if future space exploration officially confirms that life has been thriving inside this toxic hellscape all along? Let me know below what struck you the most. This haunting chemical ghost floating in the upper skies forces us to look past our own backyard, wondering if our universe contains a vast multiverse filled with strange evolutionary paths we are only beginning to unlock. Our cosmic journey through the suffocating haze of this rebellious world brings us back to a profound realization about planetary survival. Moving away from the dense yellow clouds, the wider view reveals a serene solar neighborhood floating peacefully in the dark void. I look at this vast structure and recognize a deep historical narrative written in the scorched rocks below. We began by tracking a peaceful planet that possessed vast blue oceans and an open, temperate climate, only to witness its inevitable transformation into a lonely rogue monster rolling backward through endless space. This remarkable history provides a powerful lens, showing us that the evolutionary paths of rocky worlds are never guaranteed. This dark twin planet stands before us as an absolute physical proof, a silent but brutal warning to modern humanity. We often view the fundamental rules of nature as permanent, comforting laws that protect our existence. Yet, this inverted world demonstrates that even the primary rotational direction of a massive celestial body can be violently shattered in a single astronomical moment. A giant space crash or the continuous mechanical friction of a heavy sky can completely flip the destiny of a planet. This unsettling truth forces us to reevaluate our position in deep space, breaking down our human arrogance and reminding us that planetary paradise is incredibly fragile. However, this terrifying reality does not represent a breakdown of universal order. Nurturing this cosmic perspective brings a sense of deep hope and intellectual inspiration. Every extreme environment we study helps to refine our scientific frameworks, showing us how matter behaves under immense stress. The toxic storms and crushing weight of this landscape are simply the natural results of absolute mechanical equations working across timescales. The planet is not a broken cosmic mistake, but an extraordinary display of fluid dynamics and planetary physics operating on a massive scale. The universe isn't broken. Our map of it is just incomplete. Every anomalous world we find, every planet that seems to defy our established rules, is simply existing according to its own nature and core quantum principles. This realization alters our worldview, replacing fear with a deep sense of inspiration and connection to the broader cosmos. What do you think? Does this terrifying dark world change how you see our place in the cosmos? I'll keep exploring if there's more to uncover. Thanks for watching.